Good morning everyone, I am Autumnflame and today I'd like to talk about the Division 2 Open Beta. I just recently got around to playing it this weekend and I have to say I have had an incredible amount of fun with it, and it promises to be an excellent game during release, and I cannot wait to get into the full game and explore everything that this game has to offer. So today I'm going to talk about some of the good things I've noticed about the Division 2, some bad things, and some of my hopes for the future. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Starting off with the good. I am incredibly happy that the damage sponge nature of Division 1 is completely gone. That most low-level enemies will go down with one clip of ammunition. The purple and gold will take a little bit more, but that's expected and justified, but they're not just going with let's just damage sponge enemies for increased difficulty. That enemies have become smarter, they'll flank you more often, they'll rush you more often. While you're flanked and suppressed, grenadiers and controllers with their robots will send them in to try and push you out, so their flankers and ambushers can try and hit you, which just makes combat feel much more dynamic and alive and real, rather than just, well, this guy with no armor can take down 3 clips from an LMG. It just has made the game so much better. That different weapons are all going to be viable in different situations. Is not going to be just this weapon does the most DPS, so it's the best for all circumstances. I love how all of the enemies play different roles, that they all have armaments at different positions, so someone with a helmet will take reduced headshot damage until it breaks. During that time they'll take a small stun phase, especially the elites. I found the heavily armored ones, when you place enough damage onto certain sections, the armor will break, then taking additional damage to that section, and also induce a stun phase, which can be exploited to get additional damage or a secondary stun phase on them, especially with the first elite that I encountered. With that, the mission variety that we get with these enemies has been incredibly fun. Not just all control points, well, technically they are similar in ways. There is enough of a different feel to each mission. Yeah, a lot of it's going to be wave-based combat, and that's fine, but you take control of points, but then you can call on reinforcements. You have different tactics that you have to apply depending on the enemies that you've seen. You have the call-in feature, which is great. I really enjoyed that at times, bringing in allies into the fight. And then once you've taken over certain areas, you can then use that as a forward base that you can upgrade and continue, which has been fun to do so far. The gunplay has felt excellent so far. Each weapon feels unique in its damage and recoil and handling, which makes it incredibly handy to find a gun that you like and then you can stick with that. I stuck with the basic level 1 gun until well into level 6 to 7, and I could still one-shot all red enemies at that time, and I just loved it. I was really happy. The music and atmosphere that I've found in the game so far has been excellent. The music sets an excellent tone during gunfights to increase desperation and aggression and danger. And it just fits the scene so well. Wandering around the streets of Washington, you can really tell that the country has fallen. Things are broken and in rubble, but they still see hope. There are survivors that walk around on missions, and it still seems alive. And you've got the good people, you've got the bad people, and you just feel like that Washington is a living thing trying to come back. Some of the negative things that I'd like to talk about is the UI can be a little bit clunky and unintuitive at times. It can be a little bit difficult to try and navigate the menus, find what you're looking for, scroll between weapons and other items in the inventory. I don't know exactly how we could neaten this up a bit and make it a bit more intuitive, but having your menu a little bit better and user-friendly would be excellent. I have found the movement a little stiff at times. I've noticed it can be a bit difficult traversing, jumping up on things, climbing over things, but I have been playing a lot of Apex Legends recently, which can account for a little bit of this. I don't really blame the game for being a little bit clunky, but that aside, it still feels a little bit unintuitive and slow at times when you're trying to climb up or do certain actions. I've noticed that I get hung up on doorways or certain physics objects sometimes, making it hard to run through a door or back up if you're starting to get suppressed too hard. Hopefully they can fix up some of those minor issues. Some of the abilities have been a little bit clunky and unintuitive to use, especially the roller mines. They aren't efficient for getting them out and deployed. The turrets seem fine. I've been able to place them out easily and efficiently. The drones are fairly easily get set up. The chem launcher has been just terrible with it's not very effective to try and pop out, use it real quick for something and jump back in unless you had a lot of teammates there to help take damage off you and suppress. There's just a few other things that I'd like to see get changed in the future. And now my hopes for the future. One thing that I hope about the Division is that we get a great anti-cheat system. As we all know, with Division 1 in the Dark Zone, with people exploiting and hacking, that will kill this game faster than anything else. And if we want it to survive more than weeks, months and into years, we need an even, fair playing field for everybody. So we really need any external scripting to be locked down immediately. Harsh punishments such as a hardware ID ban would be excellent, preventing them from just buying a new account and jumping back in. And just everybody being able to play on a fair, even playing field would be fantastic. Having a fair and timely loot distribution, not having to farm for months on end to get nothing, like what happened to quite a few people in the first division, leading to people exploiting and finding any way they can to farm gear, and then harsh punishments having to follow after that. Is if we can all get geared up in a reasonable time frame for the time you put in, would be excellent, and the gear that we get be efficient and effective for what we need. I hope that there is efficient matchmaking in the Dark Zone, so we don't end up with people with, say, a gear score of 200 versus people with a gear score of 400. Would incredibly break the game for those low level players and ensure that they would never be able to get the higher end loot out of the Dark Zone. Having a fair and even playing field for everybody within the Dark Zone outside of player skill would be incredibly effective, where in a game where pure numbers and stats play a large part of it, someone with 400 gear score will always beat someone with a 200. So if we could avoid that, would be fantastic. Coming into that, I am incredibly interested and hopeful for the 8-man raids that are planned, with the combination of enemies not being damage sponges, much smarter AI, and from what we can see, the tools we've been given to be able to heal, crowd control, and suppress and keep enemies where we want them and kill them in a timely manner, we have much more of an opportunity for smart, effective tactical engagements in the late game, rather than just simple, basic throw waves of enemies at us with high amounts of health, and it's all about damage stats of who can do the most damage the quickest. If we have to worry about stunning certain enemies to stop them from flanking, controlling, healing, and keeping everything maintained in a tight, effective group, will make the endgame content that much more fun to run and make the rewards that we get there that much more worth it. Rather than just being a simple gear check, we would love to see a good skill check in there too. That's all for now for this video on my opening thoughts about the Division 2 Open Beta. If you have any additional comments or questions or anything you'd like to add, feel free to leave a comment below. If you like this content, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will be sure to make much more of this content in the future, especially once the game releases. I am Autumn Flame, and everyone have an excellent day.